there, guys, and welcome to Red Corner Boxing. You with Jam and Mr. Neutral. We've got a very special guest for the Ring MC Announce Our Series, Episode 3. We've got the world-renowned MC, Mr. Thomas Treiber, all the way from Texas. Thank you so much for joining us, Thomas. How are you tonight, my man?
I am fantastic, gentlemen. It is just an honor to be here with you on this program. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Mr. Neutral, how are you today, my brother?
I'm very well, Jams. I'm delighted at last Wednesday has come and Thomas Treiber is with Red Corner Boxing here tonight for the fans. It's going to be a cracking interview. Can't wait.
Definitely, definitely. Well, I'll tell you what we'll do, Thomas, if it's okay with you. We'll start with what made you fall in love with combat sports. I know you do K1, MMA, boxing, wrestling. You love all the combat sports. Where did your love for the sport come from, brother?
Well, I think for me, it started as a young boy. I was a big professional wrestling fan. You know, growing up in the mid to late 80s, wrestling was just starting to surge with WrestleMania and all of those things like that. So I became a huge wrestling fan when I was around 12 years old. So that's where my interest started, if you will, with a combat sport. And then, of course, I became a boxing fan. And then at the tender age of 17, I got my first opportunity to try my hand at ring announcing. And now at almost 52, I'm 34 years into being a professional ring announcer. I'm an old man.
That stuns me. I thought you was in your 30s. I'm not even joking. I'm not capping. I genuinely thought you was in your 30s. I swear to God.
I really, the check is in the mail, Jam. I appreciate
God's been good to you, brother. Wow, that's amazing. That is amazing. Mr. Neutral, I know you're very excited to have Thomas T on, Thomas Treiber. What would you like to ask him before I carry on with my mundane questions? Because I know you've got some real hardcore things to ask him.
Well, I mean, I'm a man of a certain age myself, Jams, and Mr. Treiber will know this. You know, I remember seeing Thomas way, 2000 or before Froch. You know, I can go back to your HBO days, Thomas. So you're a young guy. But I want to go back, and this is fascinating. We've had a number of MCs on, and the stories just keep getting more fascinating week after week. And I was reading up on you, Thomas. I can't believe this. You're a bodybuilding champion at the age of 18, 19. Was it? 19, Indiana champion. And then you mentioned that you're a big wrestling fan, but I'm glad you didn't leave this bit out. I'm glad you did leave this bit out because the fans of wrestling are going to be absolutely stoked to hear this. You actually did a bit of professional wrestling, first under the moniker of TNT, right? Yep. And then you got noticed for the WCW, no less, and you fought Ravishing Rick Rude, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Brian Pillman. My God, nobody, how many people would ever know that about you?
I didn't know that.
I mean, that's incredible. And it just goes to show you that what you do, you put 150% into it. Just tell me, take me back to just pre-1995, just before you joined ESPN.
Yeah.
You know, how did that opportunity just come about?
Well, at 17, I started ring announcing boxing. And at the same time, I started getting opportunities to ring announce independent pro wrestling shows. So it was an opportunity for me to kind of get my foot in the door with pro wrestling and meet some people in that industry. And at 19, as you mentioned, I ended up competing in bodybuilding. I won the Teenage Mr. Illinois bodybuilding competition when I was 19. And it was at that time where I was also ring announcing pro wrestling and boxing that a professional wrestler approached me and said, hey, you know, you're in great shape. Have you ever thought about trying to wrestle? And I certainly did, you know, as every kid dreams of, you know, maybe one day wrestling. So the opportunity was actually there for me. So I trained for a few months, made my pro wrestling debut, wrestled mostly on independent wrestling shows throughout Chicago, which is where I'm from originally, the Chicago area. And then I was on a show in St. Louis, Missouri. And after my match, I was approached by two representatives, scouts, if you will, for WCW. And they asked if I was interested in working some televised events for WCW as enhancement talent or a jobber, if you will. I was one of those guys that was, brought in to lose. But hey, at 19 years old, what a great opportunity to take my professional wrestling career to the next level. So I found myself wrestling for WCW under the name Tommy Tanna, Tanna. Had the opportunity to wrestle some big names. Now, Stone Cold was not Stone Cold yet. He was stunning Steve Austin.
Stunning Steve Austin.
Stunning Steve Austin. He still had his hair, and he was tagging with the late Flying Brian Pillman. Together, they were known as the Hollywood Blondes. If anybody wants to watch that match, they can go on YouTube. Just put in Hollywood Blondes versus jobber Tommy Tanna. You'll see me get my butt kicked for about 15 minutes. And it was just a great opportunity. And I also wrestled, as you mentioned, I wrestled Ravishing Rick Rude. That was also a tag team match. His partner was the Equalizer. They were managed by the late Kevin Sullivan. Wrestled a team called the Kongs. They were managed by Harley Race. Did some dark matches as well, non-televised matches. So, I was pretty lucky to only be about 6 months into a wrestling career and get the opportunity to work at that level. I'm very thankful for that period of time.
Yeah, definitely. Can I just ask you another thing, Thomas? Was it true you was actually on an episode of the Kardashians back in 2010?
I was. Well, you guys really did your homework here. I'm very impressed by this. I got a phone call in late 2009, and it was from a promoter who was going to be promoting an event in California, Commerce City, California. And he said that the Kardashian family was going to box on this card for charity, and that it was going to be filmed to air on Keeping Up with the Kardashians, an episode of the Kardashians. So I had to send in my stuff to the E! channel. They were the ones that aired Keeping Up with the Kardashians. They then reached out to me, and I was hired. I got the gig to be the ring announcer. The episode, we filmed it in November of 2009, and then it aired 2 months later in January of 2010. The episode was shown. Kim Kardashian boxed, Bruce Jenner boxed, and also her brother, Rob Kardashian. He boxed on that episode as well. And, when we filmed it, you never know what footage they're going to use. You don't know if they're going to edit it out. I didn't know how much they were even going to show me. Well, the week before a new episode, at the end of an episode, they would always say, coming up next week on the Kardashians, and they would show a clip of the next episode. Well, lo and behold, when that happened, it was just me on the screen saying, "Let's welcome to the ring, Kim Kardashian." And it was at that moment that I said, wow, people are going to see me. And now this was before people were, social media. There wasn't even Facebook yet that I know of, or I wasn't really too active on that kind of stuff yet.
I think it was called Friends Finder or something back then.
Yeah, exactly. And, but my phone started ringing immediately when that aired because everybody was watching the Kardashians. They were the #1 hit reality show at that time. So to be on that episode the way I was, it was incredible exposure and a great opportunity for me to be seen on a different platform other than a boxing broadcast. So as a ring announcer, those are those moments that, you really want to take advantage of.
Definitely. Can I ask you, were any of them any good at boxing?
Absolutely not.
That's what I thought, Thomas. That's what I thought.
Hey, you know what? God bless Kim. She actually trained for this fight. I know she was going to. Yeah, pretty much, Jam. She did train for this fight. I know that Kim, Bruce, and Rob, they all were training at a local gym. Don't quote me. I think it might have been Wild Card Gym in California. So they they were really training, for this opportunity. They did a pretty good job. I mean, in all honesty, they did a pretty good job. Bruce won his fight. This is, of course, before he became not Bruce. He's transitioned, if you will, since this period of time. But a great guy. The family was fantastic. It was a wonderful experience. I was watching the show at the time, just like everyone else, and I never would have imagined that I would end up on the Kardashians, an episode of the Kardashians, the way I did. So very thankful for that opportunity.
It's an amazing thing to have on your resume, isn't it? It's all about making different moves and just generating interest in what you're doing, and that's announcing, and that showed you in a new light to a whole new audience. And they've seen that Thomas Treiber's got that voice, he's got that look, he's got that swagger, he knows what he's doing, and that's probably what got you to where you are today, is like literally world renowned. Everybody knows Tommy T now. Everyone knows Thomas Treiber. Sorry,
who are you talking
about?
I mean? No, hey, I really appreciate that, and I'm just very thankful to be in the position I'm in, to be part of, I've been with Queensberry now for 7.5 years.
Yeah.
A great company to work for. Frank Warren is a great boss. I really love working for them. And now we've expanded to doing the events in Saudi Arabia. For 18 months now, I've been making regular trips to be part of these incredible productions, these incredible fights. So I feel very honored to be in the position I'm in.
And it's now on DAZN as well, which gives you an even bigger worldwide audience, which can only help the game grow and help you grow and help Queensberry grow. Was you happy when you heard about Queensberry now being on DAZN rather than TNT Sports? Because in the UK, TNT Sports are known as quite the rip-off. They are very expensive for very little boxing content. So a lot of people, unless you're mad into football, didn't really want to mess with them. So now it's on DAZN. For me, it's so much better. For a lot of people, I know it's so much better. What are your thoughts on that, Thomas?
Well, look, DAZN is now the global home of boxing. Eddie Hearn's Matchroom's on there. Oscar De La Hoya's Golden Boy Promotions is on there. Now it is the official home for Frank Warren's Queensberry Promotions. I think it's great for fight fans it makes it easier. It's a one-stop shop. If you want to watch some great boxing, all you have to do is download, get on that app. I recommend anyone. I think they're even running a special right now.
$84.99 for a year's contract.
Can't beat that. Can't beat that. So I'm very excited for this new relationship. Of course, just this past Saturday in Manchester, we did our first ever show under our new multi-year deal with DAZN, with the Joe Joyce, Philip Hergovich main event, and a great undercard on that show as well. So super excited about the future and that relationship with DAZN.
Definitely. How was your trip to the UK, Thomas, as well? Just before Mr. Neutral gets back into his hard questions, how was your trip to the UK? Was everything nice? Did you have a good time? Was the atmosphere good?
A great atmosphere, Co-op Live, a great venue. If you have an opportunity to go there for anything, I know they bring a lot of concerts there. Bruce Springsteen will be there soon. The Co-op Live is a top-of-the-line new venue. Absolutely love the Co-op Live. And the fight fans in Manchester, as always, came in with all their enthusiasm. Just love the fight fans in the UK.
Thank you. Mr. Neutral, get back to what you want to ask Mr. Thomas Treiber.
Yes, thank you, James. Going back to 2008, Thomas, you made your sort of UK debut on the Carl Froch. I can't remember.
Jean Pascal.
But there was another debutant that night in one Mr. Tyson Fury. Now, when you saw Tyson for the first time, did you ever think that guy would go on to be something, fantastic?
When I first met Tyson Fury, of course, I was in awe. It's not too often that you see someone 6'9" standing in front of you. And I just remember thinking, why is this guy not playing professional basketball? Like, I mean, he is a big guy. But I was told that he had done really well in the amateurs. So he had, an amateur background, certainly didn't know what to expect. And you never know, even if a fighter, and you guys would know this, even if a fighter had great amateur pedigree, that doesn't always mean they're going to become a good pro or that they're going to become a world champion. So there certainly were a lot of questions to be answered about Tyson Fury in December of 2008, but he certainly had the physicality that was needed for the heavyweight division, and especially how it was starting to be dominated by the Klitschko's and the 6'5", 6'6" fighters. And also at that time, Deontay Wilder was fresh out of the Olympics and starting to embark on his career. So it was a really great honor to do Tyson Fury's pro debut. And who knew he would have the great career he had? And in fact, speaking of Manchester, that's where I had the opportunity to do his return fight after his unfortunate hiatus from the sport after beating Klitschko. So Manchester certainly holds a great spot in my heart.
Yeah, I, I see. Obviously, we see you in the UK shows. You speak highly of Manchester and that. What is the difference, the subtle difference with the fans in, say, Manchester, or going to another sizable arena? Is there a subtle difference between the frenziness of the fans between across from both sides of the pond?
Absolutely. When I did that first show, it was at the Trent FM Arena in Nottingham, December of 2008. I mean, Carl Froch, I'm a big fan of Carl Froch. I was a big fan of his throughout his entire career. So what an honor to get to do his first world title fight, where he beat Jean Pascal for the WBC Super Middleweight World Championship that night. And it was that day. Actually, it was at the weigh-in the day before. It was at a shopping center. And I remember people were just hanging from the rafters in there.
UK
and that
flags,
event was promoted by
flags.
Yeah, it was promoted by Hennessy Sports and Mick Hennessy. And Mick Hennessy and I made our way in for the weigh-in, and we couldn't even walk through the people. It was just elbow to elbow, jam-packed. And I said, Mick, holy cow. Like, this is incredible, how the fans were just, grouped up there for the weigh-in. And then, of course, on fight night, sold out Trent FM Arena. And since then, I've always loved the fight fans in the UK. They just really embrace the sport with a lot of enthusiasm. Of course, you guys have those songs that you guys sing, which makes it a lot of fun, and the excitement builds.
Oh, I think Thomas has just got a phone call. He'll be back in a moment, hopefully. I think he's just may have got a phone call there. But yeah, speaking of Carl Froch, Mr. Neutral, I was at his fight in Nottingham against Lucien Boutte, man. That was one of the greatest nights of my life. The hairs on the back of my neck still stand up every time I think of it. It was a real one. Like, they show out in Nottingham for their fighters. They really do. And we've got Leewood Kakache coming up, which is going to be fine.
Exactly. That's what I was trying to highlight with Thomas from an American perspective, is just how high intense atmosphere it is in a small hall show in the UK compared to America. It's almost going into a lion's den atmosphere, such as the intensity of the interest and the attraction.
I think Thomas is struggling to get back in.
Oh, that's a damn shame.
I'll do. I'll remove him, and then he can come back in. Hopefully, he'll see it and come back in, and we can continue the interview. He's a great bloke, though, isn't he? What a gentleman. He's such a great guy, man, the man from Texas, originally from Chicago.
It's that level of professionalism. I mean, Dan Goosen, Dan Goosen, the promoter, he had it's going to be one of my questions with Thomas in case he doesn't come back. He had headhunted Thomas for his American First series, and just showcase his boxes on Pro Box, and he was doing that since for donkey 20 years now, and still continues to do it. He just gives 150% into everything. I met him at the TG to Henny Nick Ball
Yeah, I
headline
remember you done the interview for
at the
Boxing Media
four.
Hub where they had to you had to redo it, didn't you? Because you got the weight wrong. You had to redo it.
Yeah, because we had the information that Thomas was given was incorrect. So me and Thomas had done an interview. So he come running back up to me, and I'm like, "Oh shit, what have I done?" You know?
Yeah.
He went, "You haven't put that out yet." I went, "No, I haven't put it out yet. What do you need?" He went, "Oh, let's do it again." So I had the pleasure of doing it twice. So
There you go. You
um,
can't go wrong with that, mate.
and
You
we
can't
got
go
the
wrong with that.
information. Yeah, but what a great guy, and it's a fascinating career, fascinating career. Um, But that, I mean, we got to pretty much where we were going to get in case Thomas doesn't come in the next couple of minutes. Um,
Yeah,
he
I
is
can't
one
even
of
reach out to him, mate. I can't reach out to him because I've got
nobody.
I'm on my phone now, so I can't reach out
Well, I
to
hope
him.
you're watching, Thomas. That we truly appreciate that you've come on to Red Corner Boxing and give us an insight into your career there tonight. Absolutely fascinating, and yeah, I love a man that puts boxing first and foremost in his career, and he is absolutely great at what he does. And here's another thing: he's the third MC we've interviewed who's from San Antonio, Texas.
I know, yeah.
What
We had Christian
what is
Smith.
it with
We
San
had Christian Smith.
Antonio
We've had bloody
and
Thomas Treiber.
MC?
They're all from the same place.
Exactly. Is it like an MC retirement place? What the hell? But
Hey, we've got
listen,
a different one next week though. We've got Mr. Jody Edwards, the MMA and
Jody
boxing
Edwards next week.
announcer. He's coming on next Wednesday at 9. I think it's 9 p.m. I'll check it out, but I'm pretty sure it is. So I'm hoping if Hawkan, if you're still watching, if you can message MC Thomas Treiber and tell him to jump back in, we're still game for another chat. He got a phone call and it dropped him out. So if Hawkan's still watching, hit up Christian
Let's
Smith. I was
hope.
going to say then hit up Tommy T and see if he'll come back on.
Let's
We're
hope
still
it's.
here.
Let's hope it's a call for a main event.
Yeah, let's hope so, mate. Well, he's just left the UK, hasn't he? He said he's going out to Saudi soon. He's got the Canelo School Show, so he's on that one soon. He's on the Chris Eubank Jr. Conor Ben show as well. So he's got some big boy moves coming up that I was hoping to talk to him about. But hopefully he'll
Yes.
come back on in a moment. Do you want to stick around or should we cancel it, Mr. News? It's up to you, brother.
Well, I think what we do. I think Thomas has obviously made attempts to get back in, and it's not working for him now. No, we're going to wrap it up there. But
Okie dokie.
another great interview, absolutely fantastic, intriguing.
We'll get him on
And
again. We'll get him on again and we'll chew the fat about the other stuff. Maybe
we
next week or
will
another week. We'll
look
get him on
out
again for sure.
for part 2 with Thomas Treiber. We've done
There
part
you
1
go.
now. We've got so much to talk about with Thomas. He will definitely come back on. I know that. He's a great
guy.
But listen, thanks for everyone who's tuned in tonight for me and Jams's MC series. This was Thomas Treiber.
Oh, he's back. He's back neutral.
Oh, he's back.
There we go. We got you back. Did you
All
get a
right,
phone
so
call,
I
Mr.
apologize
Treiber?
for that.
No. We were just setting up part 2 just in case you wasn't going to come back. But there was so much to go through yet. But Jams, continue.
Yeah, we were just going to say, you're heading over to Saudi soon. Is it Canelo School you're doing?
Yes, I'll be. I'll first. I'm in San Juan, Puerto Rico, this Saturday.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And then I'll be going to London, England, for the Conor Ben Eubank Jr. event. That'll be April 26th, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and then I'll be heading straight from there to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, for the Canelo Skull event in Riyadh on May 3rd. And then from May 3rd, I'll be heading straight to Nottingham for the May 10th Queensberry show in Nottingham. So I'll be on quite the international tour here over the next month, but not complaining. Very excited about these events. Now, the one in London at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, Michael Buffer will be doing the main event. That's the first ever ring show. And then also in Riyadh, Buffer will be doing the main event. But I get to do the full undercard, also the co-main event typically as well. So still a great spot to be in. And what an honor to work with the great Michael Buffer.
Definitely, yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously, the man is a god in your game. Um, from the very, very, very early days. And we interviewed Lupe Contreras last week, and I was going to say,
Oh, okay.
what is it with you guys in San Antonio? I mean, is it the sun down there? Is it the beautiful weather? All three MCs now that we've interviewed have all
Christian
come from
Smith,
San
Lupe Contreras,
Antonio,
Thomas
Texas.
Treiber. Yeah, they're all in San
You know,
Antonio, Texas.
it
Well,
Must be
must
a
be
hot
the
spot
sun,
for ring MCs.
but Thomas, you're a very well travelled man by now. Have you got a favourite destination that Oh, I could do a bit of a bit of tourist hunting here while I'm here. Is there ever a favourite place that you love to go to?
Well, I'll tell you what, over the past 18 months, I've done over a dozen shows in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. And what a beautiful country. What an incredible experience that has been to be part of those great events and also have an opportunity to get a feel for the different cultures, the different foods. We stay at wonderful hotels when we're there. It's just been an incredible experience. So I'm always counting the days until my trip back to Saudi Arabia. And I can understand now why so many people are starting to go there, why so many great events are being held there, not just in boxing, but of course, WWE is there, UFC is there, golf has found a home there as well, of course,
Formula One,
football, so
Tennis. Yeah.
tennis, you name it. So that's definitely become, the UK is a second home for me. I've been going there every month for almost 8 years. So the UK
wow.
definitely has become a second home to me. But I think my third home now is Saudi Arabia. Just love it there.
Yeah. What's the atmosphere like though, in truth, Thomas? I know you say you love it there. The country's great, the food's great, the hotels are great, it's all fantastic, it's a lovely holiday. But what about the action on fight night? Does it live up to the same as the UK, to the US? Is it
Well, I mean, it
really
is,
about the fights or is it about the situation, the travelling, the holidays?
it certainly is a different type of atmosphere. When we have done the shows at Kingdom Arena, what a lot of people don't know is the Kingdom Arena is massive. And when I say massive, I think they hold about a capacity of around 45,000 people. This place is massive. So sometimes if there's a few empty seats, I've heard some negative comments on social media and things like that, but they don't understand how massive that arena is. And, when we get to that main event, if it's Fury Usyk, it's full. By the time we get to the main event, it's just like years ago when I would watch the fights from Las Vegas. The first fight, there was 10 people there. By the time Mike Tyson was fighting Holyfield, it was completely packed. So, but fans are coming from all over the world for these shows in Riyadh. And I've also started to see how the locals there in Saudi Arabia have really started to embrace the sport. And every show we do, I see and meet more and more boxing fans that are from Saudi Arabia. So it's really, really exciting and cool to be part of this growth in boxing there.
That's
And
amazing.
you mentioned growth. Now, all through your years, you see the production in the background of many a show, and the cost value to that production. Now that you've witnessed the Riyadh machine, how 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 frighteningly big is it compared to other events that you've covered?
In my career, which spans over 3 decades, I've never been part of such incredible productions. The detail involved when we do, with these events, it's a full fight week. It's not just the weigh-in and the show. We have, and I host the grand arrivals on Tuesday. I will host the media workouts on Wednesday. I'll open for the press conference Thursday, weigh-in Friday, show Saturday. And every night we have a beautiful stage, lighting, where they put there's a place called Boulevard City in Riyadh, and it really is like they have basically created a place where it's different cultures. It could be you're in Mexico here, you're in Greece here, you're in New York City, Times Square here. It's an amazing experience all on one property. It's like you're visiting the world. So that's where we have hosted a lot of our build-up things at Boulevard City. So incredible productions that they do there.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All Cans Ringside Live just asked Thomas, who's promoting the show in Puerto Rico that you're heading to at the weekend?
Yeah, that event is being promoted by who I was hired by is a gentleman named Javier Bustillo, Universal Promotions. He's a longtime, well-established promoter there in Puerto Rico. I've worked for him multiple times throughout the years. It's been a little while since I've worked for him. I have been to Puerto Rico within the last 6 months. That was with a Salida promotion show that was on DAZN for a series called Big Time Boxing USA, but that was a special Puerto Rico edition of Big Time Boxing USA on that one. Man, that one was promoted by Dimitri Salida, but Javier Bustillo is the promoter of this event Saturday.
Lovely, thank you. What also, mate, I wanted to ask you, Thomas, if you don't mind, before we let you go, what do you think to Jake Paul and MVP signing up all the top female talent in the world at the minute? They've signed Bumgarner, they've already got Serrano, they've signed Yokasta Valley's little sister, they've got Ramla Ali. Today they've got Dina Forsland, they've signed Shaychik in Metcalf. They are snapping up all that talent in the female sport of boxing. What's your thoughts on that, Thomas?
Well, I think that's fantastic. I think women deserve a bigger platform. I think they always have. I think that women's boxing hasn't always gotten the notoriety or the respect that it deserves. So it's always good to hear that a company like MVP now is really taking notice to the female talent out there, and they're going to give them a bigger platform. So, I mean, there's great fighters out there, and they all need a platform. So I think it's only great for the sport of boxing, and especially, of course, female boxers.
Definitely. Yeah, we've also got Elizabeth Ashoba as well, that they've just signed. Yeah. Elizabeth Ashoba, and there's rumours Chantel Cameron might be next to follow. She's been spotted in New York today. She might be next. And if they do, all they need is Terry Harper and the Goat, and they've pretty much cleaned up the entire female game.
Well, I know they have Serrano as well, Amanda Serrano as well. So, I haven't heard anything about Chantel. I think she's still tied in with Queensberry, if I'm not mistaken. Quit Chantel. I think they might have had
a little bit of a problem. I don't know, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see, Thomas. We'll see. But hopefully she'll be next.
Thomas, give the fans a little clue here, because you are the first person to know a result at the end of a fight. I have read an instance where you get a result, you know it first, and you go, uh-oh. Is it like playing with the children, throwing out the candy, when you do you must be a privileged feeling.
It certainly is. I mean, it's a lot of fun to be in that position where you and the supervisor or whoever's the head of the commission are the only ones that really know the decision. And certainly if it's a controversial decision, your first thought is going to be, oh my goodness, wait till I announce this, But with that said, I never enjoy if I see a fighter getting robbed. You never want to see a fighter get a horrible decision that is not deserved. But when it's a close fight, like when Nick Ball won the WBA featherweight championship against Ray Ford in Saudi Arabia, in those kind of fights, when you go to announce a new world champion, especially a Frank Warren Queensberry fighter as a new world champion, what an honor and what a great feeling that is.
And you adapt to every situation, like you say. If you had one sort of way of doing it in mind at the end of the fight, but it depends on how the fight ended. that you give that extra zip, you know. I love the way you do it.
Well, I
It's
appreciate that,
brilliant, mate.
Stephen. And you know, it's very important. Delivery as a ring
Yeah,
announcer is very important. And you want to have that dramatic pause right before you say the winner. So if it's a split decision and you say, and your winner by split decision,
and there's that pause.
Stephen, you know, you want to give it that moment
Gets everyone
so,
whipped
that the
up into a
fans,
frenzy.
yeah, so you don't want to just rush into it. So delivery is very important with those decisions like a split or majority decision, that those close fights, you really want to give it that dramatic pause.
Yeah,
Yeah,
can I ask you,
'cause
Thomas, as well? We seen the Sugar Neeks Nina Hughes first fight in Australia, where was it Dan Henderson? I can't remember his name exactly. Don't quote me on that. But he made the wrong announcement. Have you ever done anything like that? You ever had a mishap in your career so far?
I was
I've
gonna
never
say
Hopefully,
made
there's
a
I'm not
no
trying to get any
dead.
commentators curse. But have you ever
I've
made a
never
mess up
made
like that?
I've never made a mistake. I've been perfect for 34 years. No, that's not
There
true.
you
I
go.
wish
That's what we like to hear. That's
no,
what we like to
I
hear.
wish that were true. Well, I'll try and make this story brief, but in my rookie year with ESPN, I made a very bad mistake. A fight got
No.
stopped, so it was a TKO victory. I grabbed my microphone, went into the ring, went to the timekeeper. As I'm getting the time from the timekeeper, the floor director is giving me my cue, and we're live on ESPN nationwide. And the floor director is going, go, 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 you know, giving me my cue. As I'm getting the time and I'm looking at the floor director, it hits me. I don't have my card. I only have my microphone. Now, this is my rookie year on ESPN, so give me a break here.
1995.
And as so in my head, I'm thinking, okay, I'm just going to have to do it without my card, you know? So I said, ladies and gentlemen, here is the official time, 2 minutes, 25 seconds. And as I'm saying this, I'm going, I don't know the winning fighter's name.
Oh, no.
So I'm like, your winner. So I'm starting to kind of slow down a bit. Your winner
Yeah.
by way of technical knockout. And here's what I did. I said, because the fighter was right next to me, I said, what's your name? Now here's okay. Now here's the problem. I did not have enough sense to put the microphone down and say, what's your name? It got picked up on the microphone, me saying, what's your name? And it went,
So the winner is, what's your name?
yeah, and the guy's name was Chavez Francisco, and he just said Chavez, and I go, Chavez.
At least you styled it out.
I thought my career was over. I'm not going to say what I broke in that hotel room that night.
I
But
can imagine. I
it
can imagine. Hey,
was
but you came through it, Thomas, and now you're one of the biggest MCs in the world. Everyone knows your voice, knows your face. You
well,
are
you
one of
learn
the
from
top
your mistakes,
MCs in the
Jam.
world.
Well, I appreciate those kind words. I'm just happy to make a living doing this. You know, for years I had to work Mickey Mouse jobs in between, you know, make ends meet and so forth. But for many years now, I've made a full-time living as a ring announcer, and it's an honor every time I fly over the pond. The fact that a promoter thinks enough of me to put me on an airplane and fly me across the pond, there's no bigger honor as a ring announcer than that.
He knows his stuff, mate. Honestly, I've never
And
met
it's,
anyone who dislikes you. Everyone I've ever spoken to, you're
yeah,
always in their top 3 or
abs-
4 every single time. Buffalo, Lennon,
absolute gentleman,
Contreras, you,
absolute
every
gentleman.
time.
That's
And
very nice to hear.
you've honoured us here, myself and Jams, Red Corner Boxing, Thomas. And I hope to meet you again in Manchester very soon.
We will, my
But
friend. We will. And what an honor. I'm a big fan of Red Corner Boxing, and it's a big honor for
come
me to be
on,
with you guys.
Thank you so much.
thank you,
Honestly,
Thomas.
really appreciate that, Thomas. Thank you. Well, on that note, guys, hit the subscribe button. Make sure you get behind Thomas Treiber. Follow all his journeys. He flies all around the world, bringing us the best MCing and announcing in boxing and other sports. But for now, he's with Queensborough and he's with Red Corner Boxing. From me and Mr. Neutral, God bless, salute, take care. We'll see y'all soon.